passionate about wearing saris and think it would be a shame to only wear the traditional attire at festivities.
Oh, I love this. That's how I love mixing and matching. This is my absolute favorite.
They have fallen in love with the sari anew. Their reinterpretation has turned it into a success story.
Our mother, our aunts, our grandparents, they all wore saris so easily and in the day-to-day lives. They would sleep in a sari, they would wake up, work, get dressed, freshen up, and then again wear a sari. So sari felt like home. I would come back home, hug my ma, and it felt like, oh, this is home. And that's how saris always were in our heads. And saris always become the person who's wearing it. Whatever shape it is, whatever mood you are in, sari wraps you like that. You know, that was the essence of the sari in our hearts.
The headquarters in Mumbai are the heart of the operation and the first port of call for in-house customers. From here, they also ship all over India. Today, Suta is known throughout the subcontinent, but the company started out very small. The sisters' esprit is part of their secret to success. Almost weekly, they post sensual, feminine, imaginative videos to their Instagram account, showing the pair in new sari combinations, enjoying themselves. Suta caters to the desires of its young clientele. For instance, for Halloween, just one of their many ideas. Back to Varanasi, where it's mostly traditional saris that are traded. Varanasi is one of the most important centers of the Indian textile industry. Here they specialize in hand-woven fine fabrics. The precious Banarasi saris are coveted throughout India. They're sold all over the city and woven behind almost every door. Hemang Agrawal and his family have remodeled a 250-year-old palace and opened it as a showroom for his luxury textile label Anjora, with a prestigious view of the Ganges. Here, Hemang Agrawal welcomes customers from all over India.
We wanted Anjora, the label, to signify about the best of traditional weaving as has happened over last 2 centuries or more.
Centuries-old traditions and weaving practices, that's what his label stands for. Agrawal is very conscious of tradition, something that made the move from textile trade to design even harder for him. Creating something new with the tradition-rich fabrics was almost a sacrilege, but he took the leap. In 2016, Agrawal showcased his collection for the first time at India's biggest fashion event, the Lakme Fashion Week. He's been a regular guest ever since.
So the sensibility was to make it appeal to a wider audience, Indian as well as international. So that has been the center of our ideology, that we consciously want to create something different using the same set. You know, as I always say, that the soul of the craft can remain the same, but the body can take different shapes and different forms.
Back to Mumbai, sari trade is a philosophy for the creators of Suta.
It's not just a commodity, it's not just a product, it is more than that. It's an extension, because sari itself is such a thing that you'll fall in love.
Their mission is to make the sari wearable again, beyond festive occasions. But many of their young customers are unsure how to even wrap a sari. There are different ways, depending on the region and social status of the wearer. The designers skillfully use social media to get their message across, posting almost daily. They even have a pre-draped sari in their collection and offer tutorials.
We had to show that sari is like a t-shirt, you know. I would wear shoes with it. I would wear t-shirt underneath some days. I would just wrap the sari, the short sari for cycling. We did a cycling thing and we wore short saris, all of us, all the girls. With short saris, we're cycling all over Bombay. So we did all of that to remind people that saris used to be that, you know. Our ancestors wore saris and did everything, hunting, running, everything in saris, you know. There was no tailor back then, right? So everything happened in a sari.
A bride and groom wearing traditional attire should ideally look something like this. India's most famous Bollywood stars. Alia Bhatt and Ranveer Singh wearing the finest festive attire at star designer Manish Malhotra's bridal fashion show. Buying precious garments like these is a dream many wealthy Indians are happy to shell out for. Weddings in India are a huge business. Most weddings last for several days with some 500 guests on average. Celebrations take place at multiple locations and involve many rituals, together with family, friends, neighbors, and the entire village. Many families spend a fortune. Precious silk saris are popular, embroidered with real gold and silver, like the famous Kanchipuram saris. We're in South India. RMKV is one of the largest and most renowned high-quality sari providers in Chennai, formerly known as Madras. The company has been in operation since 1924.
We're really thrilled today to be here. Sari shopping itself is such a vibrant experience with the flooding of colors, everything. It's such an emotion, and we're so happy.
If you look at my wardrobe, I have something around 200 plus saris. I haven't worn everything yet. I have a wide variety of saris. Saris in our culture are like a part of the body, right? Saris can be seen at all celebrations, from the Tamil ear-piercing ceremony to the wedding ceremony. A lot of Western clothes and trends may come and go, but nothing is complete without a sari.
The bride is given up to 51 precious saris for the wedding from just one side of the family. The cost of each sari starts at 150 euros and can go into the tens of thousands. Far away from India, the country's textile splendor is also captivating fashionistas in Europe. Glittering luxury, seductive haute couture fantasies, a sea of glistening sequins. That's the world of star designer Rahul Mishra, the first Indian designer to have made it to the Paris Haute Couture Week.
So dreams are beautiful. Dreams are driving the country like India. And it's a country of, I would say, billion dreams.
Mishra has brought India to Paris. Only the very best are allowed to showcase their creations here during the biannual Haute Couture Week. The event is the crowning glory of the fashion cosmos. Preparations for his latest show are in full swing. The team has been working for 6 months. The models are from Paris. The team is from India. Nerves are on edge. When it comes to haute couture, each show must be perfectly planned and staged. The world's press is watching, and Mishra hopes to represent India in the best possible light.
I was born in a very, very small village in India. So my first 10 years were almost away from entire world, just restricted to the village. That was my entire universe. And beyond that, it used to be like at night, sleeping under the stars, enjoying that time was really beautiful. So, and then hearing stories from my grandmother, playing with her with a spinning wheel. Although as a child, I had no idea it's forming an impact onto me. I'm just playing, just for fun of it. But then, when I'm today designer, when I look back, I'm able to connect dots, like how that time shaped my thinking.
Back in India, for millennia, women in South Asia have draped themselves in silk and linen. The wearer's origins can be identified by how she wears the garments, as well as the type of fabric, its colors, and embroidery. The first mention of saris can be found in a Hindu hymn book from around 3000 BC. In Sanskrit, the word means a strip of fabric. India has 28 states and more than 100 ways to drape a sari. In 2023, the sari even made it into an international museum. The London Museum of Design paid homage to sari design with 60 different exhibits. As a festive garment, the sari is in, but for everyday wear, it hasn't always been. To wear their saris in everyday life, the movement captivated the country. But what does the younger generation think about tradition and modernity? Is there still room for up to 9 meters of tradition-rich fabric between Instagram and YouTube?
I don't look like a teacher, but when I go to school, I wear sari. That defines my fashion, my profession. I'm a dancer as well. So when I started dancing, I was very baggy pants and all because I was into hip-hop. Then I realized that I'm more into a dance form which is popping, so I changed my style. Like it came like a woman in suit. Fashion is like I change it by time to time, like how I feel, according to my emotions, according to my energies, like what I want to.
As for my generation, we're not expected to dress traditionally in suits or saris every single day. We can wear modern clothes, we can wear Western clothes. I like to dress very androgynously. So for a person like me expressing who I am, I use the way I dress to, just communicate what I feel as a person and what my, gender identity is and who I am.
Back to Europe, to Paris, to the fashion world of Rahul Mishra. Fashion is both art and business, a sculpture as a piece of clothing. The show is the latest test at Haute Couture Week.
You have got best of the brands from almost all the countries they come and showcase here. So being amongst them, seeing their work, and at the same time improving your game. Yeah, it's like there's a beautiful saying, if you want to be the best player, play with best teams. So, that's what Paris has done to us in the last 10 years of time. And we are learning.
Opulently embroidered designs, often with Indian narrative elements, is how Mishra made a name for himself in the industry. His master embroiderer, Afzal Zariwala, is with him. He's worked with Mishra since 2010.
Is all credited to him because his workmanship was so beautiful that it kind of made me realize that hand embroidery is a beautiful craft. It has got so much of goodwill, so many good things attached to it.
Mishra knows just how important the craftsmanship of his employees is. It's what got him where he is today. He greatly values their time-honored, cross-generational knowledge. After his last Paris Haute Couture Week, Mishra read about India surpassing China in population and got the idea for his current collection. He called it We the People, a tribute to his team.
We wanted to do something like a tribute to our karigars, to the people who work for us. So in each petal, we created people working in it.
It's a very Gandhian thought behind the whole idea. Is like, we are in fashion business. We have to create clothes. What if we can slow down the process of creation so that more people can participate in the process of making clothes? And that is what makes haute couture far more beautiful, far more valuable, far more divine.
They have just one day left to make their dream come true of another successful Haute Couture Week. Back to the traditional city of Varanasi, India's most myth-enshrouded holy city. And to Hemang Agrawal, the Indian designer who has a reputation for preserving the old weaving traditions from this town. His new opulent creations are like the traditional saris, artfully woven from silk with real gold and silver, according to centuries-old rules of craftsmanship. The Agrawal family runs a textile empire in Varanasi. Hemang's brother manages the business at Holy Weaves. Making a so-called Banarasi sari, which is known throughout India, is a true art, one only a master weaver can achieve. The Agrawals work together with up to 2,000 weaving families. The weavers need anywhere from a few weeks to 6 months to complete a single piece. The weavers of Hemang Agrawal are well paid. They're valued for their high-quality artistic work and make a good living from it. Nowadays, though, manual work is on the decline. 3/4 of Banasari saris are produced by machine. The saris are cheaper to make, and the weavers don't earn as much for them as they did in the past. 120,000 weavers live in Varanasi. Most of them are Muslim and live in poor weaving colonies, earning less than a construction worker does in a day. Many work on power looms, which produce saris and fabrics much more cheaply, up to 1 or 2 a day.
Most of us are involved with machine weaving. But even with machine work, the business is not going well. The trade is bad. That's why a lot of people are leaving and going elsewhere. Some are finding other jobs too. There are a lot of power cuts here. That affects us weavers a lot.
Not everyone in the Indian fashion industry can produce luxury goods. In reality, the industry is marked by something much darker: fast fashion. It spits out cheap clothes at an ever-increasing rate. Much of it will only be worn a few times. Quality doesn't matter. In India, nearly 8 million tons of textile waste are generated every year. And global clothing production has doubled in the past 15 years. According to estimates, the fashion industry uses around 93 billion cubic meters of water every year, the same amount 5 million people drink in a year. The countryside in the state of Tamil Nadu, in the middle of the southeast of the subcontinent. Here, we meet a designer who, like many young Indian designers, has taken up the sustainability cause.
I'll be very happy about it if my journey makes at least an inch of difference among the people.
A village on the outskirts of the South Indian city of Chennai. This is where Vinu Supraja finds inspiration for her fashion. She grew up just 10 kilometers from the village of Purisai. As a fashion designer, Supraja wants to let her childhood memories inspire her. Her current collection was influenced by the street theater known as Terukutu that is still alive in the village today.
Terukutu is a form of storytelling, and it's a very, very ancient art form. It happens throughout the night, and it's very crude, it's very raw, rustic, very colorful, and very inspiring too.
Drawing on the strong lines, the stripes of the large skirts, and the tassels, Supraja created her collection. Her label has been around since 2015. Supraja has made a name for herself in the industry as a designer who works very sustainably. It's important to her that the sustainability concept runs right through to the very last link in the supply chain.
I source all the raw materials and all the fabrics and every single element of my garments from the local community. It's not just grounded superficially, it is grounded and rooted in every true sense.
Vinu Supraja has even written a book about the polluting nature of the fast fashion industry.
We can't just pollute this world for the sake of wearing new clothes every day and leave back a very dirty world, very polluted world to our children, right? There is no point in building bank balance and buying houses for our children and not giving them clean air and clean water, right? So at least for that sake, we need to be more conscious about what we buy.
In September 2023, she presented her Purisai collection at Fashion Week in London, complete with a dance interlude.
Being a sustainable fashion designer is not easy at all because we are talking about selling a philosophy, not selling a product. We are asking people to become more minimal. We are asking people to be more conscious about their buying choices. It's more about preaching than about making profit.
Strong, confident voices. India's fashion scene never fails to excite. In the second part of Fashion from India, we show more Indian designers and their commitment to sustainability. how they honor their traditional crafts, and why India's national pride as an up-and-coming industrial nation is historically based on the textile industry. Indian designers are making a name for themselves worldwide with their creations. Join us. Until then, namaste and take care.
Ili kupata msubiri Mungu kama sikiza tune yako, bonyeza *812 *501#.
Kijana kanipigia simu amejawa na huzuni. Amefadhaika yuhoi. Nikamuuliza kunani? Japo nimetia jitihada za mtu wa kujenga nyumba kwa mate, nikaongeza kumcha Mungu, sifanikiwi. Naishi kama lofa mlala hoi. Kabwela wa madongo.
Kupata msubiri Mungu kama sikiza tune, bonyeza *812 *501#. *812 *501#.
Are you looking for competent college training founded on Christian background? Sensei Institute of Technology is the right place. Welcome to the home of great practical skills where learning is hands-on, the CBC way, and everyone has potential.
I'm Silvano Magez Mugisha from Uganda. I'm a student in Sensei Institute of Technology. I've taken several courses in Sensei, which is plant operator, plant mechanics, automotive electronics, and solar installation and CCTV. The reason why I've done all those courses with Sensei, Sensei gives the best practical skills in all fields, and these skills always help us to provide our best to the society. I've had a very good experience with Sensei because the teaching staff of Sensei do not only act like teachers, but they even act like parents. So they have given me a good experience in school and outside school.
All you need is your ID card to be admitted to either of our 2 campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru. Call us on 0717 951 055 or 0729 891 301. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
Greetings from Nairobi, Kenya. About 2 decades ago, when African leaders articulated the Africa Rising message, it sounded like something between a dream and a wish. Today, there is no longer any doubt that the dream is happening. Africa's economies are expanding and diversifying, unleashing a capacity for sustained industrialization and wealth creation. Our aspirations for shared prosperity have never been closer. Under the Africa Union's Agenda 2063, the continent is undergoing integration at an unprecedented pace, with the Africa Continental Free Trade Area paving the way for breaking down historical barriers, laying a robust foundation for growth and development, and catalyzing the rise of Africa as a global force for good. Even as we take these encouraging strides towards our destiny, it is also true that inadequate financing remains a major obstacle to the actualization of Africa's growth and development aspirations. There exists real structural constraints to Africa's access to the financial resources necessary for our economies to perform according to their true potential, and this costs millions of Africans, especially young men and women, who are the overwhelming majority of our citizens, their dreams and hopes, as well as prospects of livelihoods. As leaders, we are not going to sit by and lament. We have resolved to do something about it and to initiate honest conversations and productive engagements among ourselves and with other leaders in the public, private, multilateral, and non-governmental sectors beyond our continent, with a view to generating effective, timely, and sustained solutions. This is why Kenya looks forward to hosting the World Bank's International Development Association's 21st Summit for African Head of State and Government on April 28 to 29 to deliberate upon and articulate the urgent imperative for a more ambitious replenishment of development financing for 72 low-income countries.
rising cases of gender-based violence, there is a need to come up with innovative solutions to stop this menace. So, as Tech, we have met some of the startups who have come up with brilliant ideas to stop this menace and mitigate it through some efforts that are even rehabilitating some of the victims. This is what we have for you in the show today, among so many other things that we'll be talking to you about. The hashtag, remember, is Tech at KBC Channel 1. My name is Stephanie Ayeta.
Gender-based violence, or GBV, refers to any harm inflicted against a person's will. It results from discrimination and unequal power on the basis of gender roles and norms. It is an umbrella term for various forms of violence that can affect people of all genders, such as child marriage, intimate partner violence, sexual and emotional violence. It is used to establish or reinforce gender inequalities. GBV is widespread and disproportionately affects women and girls, with 1 in 3 worldwide experiencing physical and sexual violence. During crises, the risks of GBV can greatly increase, especially for those with least power, voice and access to services or resources. Although we need to deliver immediate and life-saving assistance, if we don't recognize and address gender inequality and the risks of GBV, we may miss vital opportunities to assist those who are most in need, or may unintentionally expose them to further harm.
So what must we do? Recognize that GBV is a life-threatening issue and assume it is happening, regardless of whether incidents have been verified. Follow global guidelines and collaborate with specialists to look for GBV risks. Insecure shelters and gender-unaware camp design may increase risks of sexual violence. Schools and recreational activities, vital for the well-being of crisis-affected children, can also increase risks of GBV. As humanitarians, it is our responsibility to mitigate, prevent, and within our capability, respond to GBV. We must identify and address the different needs, capacities, and vulnerabilities of girls, boys, women, and men, and reduce their risks to GBV. Speak with vulnerable groups to identify and mitigate safety risks in your design, delivery, and evaluation of assistance. Address root causes of gender inequality by promoting the equal rights of women and girls and other marginalized groups. Engage men and boys as advocates for gender equality and ending GBV. Reporting of GBV incidents is hindered by stigma and risks of further violence. This multiplies the physical, emotional, and social effects of GBV. It can restrict reporting rates and survivors' access to services. Specialists must provide gender-sensitive services without delay and establish confidential referral systems. Survivors' rights and informed consent are central. Prioritize safety, confidentiality, respect, and non-discrimination in your response. Non-specialists also have a key role to play. If someone discloses an incident to you, remember to look, listen and link to information on available support. It is everyone's responsibility to prevent, mitigate and respond to GBV. Together, we can stop gender-based violence.
Governments and non-governmental actors are innovating with technology to strengthen GBV programming and systems, improve reach and access of gender-based violence services, educate communities and empower women and girls through digital, financial, health and education services. Globally, technology is also being harnessed in efforts to address gender-based violence. Around the world, different actors are using ICTs and other digital technologies to bolster GBV prevention, mitigation, and response efforts. Women's access to mobile phones and mobile internet continues to increase across low and middle-income countries. 83% of women now own a mobile phone in low and middle-income countries, and 58% use mobile internet, enabling GBV survivors and other women and girls unprecedented access to digital tools and platforms where they can access and share information and seek assistance and support from professionals and from peers. Women and girls at risk of GBV are using online and smartphone-based applications to feel safer in public and domestic spaces. And GBV and women's rights advocates and activists are using online tools to campaign, lobby, and mobilize for gender equality and for action on GBV. Harnessing innovation to address gender-based violence is critical for creating a more just and equitable society. Technology can play a significant role in this endeavor by providing new tools and platforms for prevention, intervention, and support. One area where innovation can make a difference is in the development of apps and online platforms that provide resources and support for survivors of gender-based violence. These platforms can offer information about legal rights, access to support services, and even tools for documenting and reporting incidents of violence. Another important aspect is the use of data and analytics to better understand the root causes of gender-based violence and to identify patterns and trends that can inform prevention efforts. By analyzing data from various sources, including social media, law enforcement records, and health databases, researchers and policymakers can gain insights into the factors that contribute to violence and develop targeted interventions. Additionally, innovations in education and awareness raising can help change attitudes and behaviors that perpetuate gender-based violence. Digital media, virtual reality, and interactive educational tools can engage people in conversations about consent, healthy relationships, and gender equality. Furthermore, innovative approaches to policy and advocacy can help create a more supportive environment for survivors and hold perpetrators accountable. This may include initiatives such as online reporting systems, legal aid services, and campaigns to challenge harmful stereotypes and norms. Entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and advocates for gender equality can collaborate to generate actionable ideas to address gender-based violence through various means, such as cross-sector partnerships, which brings together stakeholders from diverse backgrounds, including technology, business, advocacy, academia, and government, can facilitate the exchange of ideas and resources. Collaborative efforts can lead to innovative solutions that leverage each sector's expertise and networks. Technology companies can establish initiatives focused on using their products and expertise to address social issues like gender-based violence. This may involve developing new tools, platforms, or applications specifically designed to support survivors, raise awareness, or facilitate reporting. Venture capital firms, corporate investors, and philanthropic organizations can support startups and social enterprises working on solutions to address gender-based violence. By providing funding, mentorship, and resources, they can help scale promising initiatives and innovations. Advocates for gender equality can work with industry leaders and entrepreneurs to advocate for policy reforms that address the root causes of gender-based violence. This may include advocating for stronger legal protections, increased funding for supportive services, and initiatives to challenge harmful gender norms and stereotypes. Corporate social responsibility initiatives is another aspect that companies can use to integrate efforts to address gender-based violence into their CSR initiatives. This may involve providing funding to organizations working in this field, implementing workplace policies that support survivors or raise awareness among employees and customers. In research and data sharing, academia, industry, and advocacy organizations can collaborate on research projects to better understand the impact of gender-based violence and identify effective interventions. Sharing data and insights can inform evidence-based approaches and drive policy change. Community engagement and education, where communities are encouraged to engage in discussions about gender-based violence and promoting education and awareness-raising initiatives, can help change attitudes and behaviors. Entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and advocates can collaborate on campaigns, workshops, and outreach programs to reach diverse audiences. Hackathons and innovative challenges are also key. Organizing events like hackathons or innovation challenges focused on addressing gender-based violence can spark creativity and generate new ideas. These events bring together individuals with different skill sets and perspectives to brainstorm, prototype, and develop solutions within a short time frame. Business Idea Marathon, organized by the Japan International Cooperation Agency JICA, in partnership with the National Gender and Equality Commission Kenya, Nairobi County Government, and Daystar University, with support from Project Ninja, Axel African Consulting, and The Village, Statinev, and Safaricom Foundation, brought together entrepreneurs, industry leaders, advocates for gender equality to collaborate and generate actionable ideas. Through workshops, panel discussions, and networking opportunities, participants explored how entrepreneurship can be harnessed as a force for positive social change. Budding entrepreneurs and startups presented their business ideas and how their innovations could be used to come up with solutions that address prevention and tackling of gender-based violence.
We organized this Business Idea Marathon because we believe that elimination of gender-based violence is the issue that must be tackled by the entire society. We really believe that businesses have a strong and unique role to stand strong against gender-based violence and foster changes in our society. So I really hope that we can spearhead the groundbreaking initiative to end gender-based violence from Kenya together.
Part of the reason why we chose this unique event as a form of raising awareness in tackling gender-based violence is although government is making a lot of efforts, development partners, but we need to bring on board the business side, which also is equally important in trying to bring up solutions that can tackle gender-based violence in Kenya. In business concept, this is the first step in trying to identify some of the innovative ideas that can be put into use. So the marathon is just to bring together people from business sector that could have potential ideas towards addressing GBV issues in Kenya. The next step we hope is to have a contest where the business ideas that pass through this stage could compete, and then the best viable ideas could be probably pursued for bigger outcomes.
For this particular activity, it is the first one to be held globally. We have different business idea marathons, but none has ever been organized to address gender-based violence. So globally, this is the first business idea marathon to address gender-based violence. And through the innovative ways that the startups are going to come up with, the entrepreneurs and the players in the private sector, we really hope to pick these lessons and replicate them in different counties in Kenya. And we hope that the same lessons can be picked and be replicated in other countries in the world.
A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I've already taken the first step. I've already built the prototype that's ready for testing. As we speak now, we are doing what we call a beta phase testing. So that means we've already signed up a couple of pharmacies. There's a doctor on the back end who help us now to be able to test the system. Now, we've taken a series of people close to us who are now testing on the client side and giving us feedback on what we can be able to tweak or iterate on the platform so that it can correctly serve the needs of the GBV victims totality.
What we're working on right now is the business model Canva, and that one helps you to look at your business from a broader view in terms of what is your problem, what are your key activities and all that. So being here is very helpful because you're not only pitching your idea, but you're also learning from others. And, working in a group, you're able to, the team members are able to help you think out of the box on areas that you had not thought of and make your idea much better.
First on how it's changing the narrative on GBV is that GBV is for the people who go through GBV are people in the marginalized and poor communities. Professionals and even people at the workplace go through GBV. As well as men who, because of stigma, men don't report because it's very hard to even go find a guy going to the police and asking for maybe a P3 form because of having gone through assault or something of the sort. They're told, kuwa mwanaume. But now with this app, they can even choose to be anonymous and report and get the counseling they deserve or even take the matters forward legally. This idea marathon was really instrumental in first getting us industry partners and also meeting people who have the same mindset and ideas around gender-based violence. I was very happy to actually come and find a lot of men here, and that shows that it's not a women-only issue, it's of all genders and everyone is coming together to actually solve this problem. And this facilitation of such an idea marathon brings people with different ideas and they come together and even share their insights and even their research on maybe people that they have dealt with. And the culmination of all this is just magical ideas that just bring about solutions that are very innovative and would have otherwise not been possible. We'd also like to ask for, as everyone says, serikali's idea, because it starts and ends with government policy and how it's enforced. There's so many government policies in the country, but the enforcement of the same is very shaky, and you find that many of these cases go unreported because we don't trust our legal systems.
By collaborating across sectors and leveraging their respective strengths and resources, entrepreneurs, industry leaders, and advocates for gender equality can generate actionable ideas and drive meaningful change in the fight against gender-based violence.
It is in this auditorium that participants will gather from their breakout sessions where they have polished up on their ideas, and some of the best 3 will be picked and hopefully adapted to help solve the problem of gender-based violence. Maybe, just maybe, such events are what we need to tap into the innovative potential that our youths have in solving many of the problems that our country has. This has been Take on Tech. Thank you for staying with us. We meet next week, same time, same place. The hashtag to use is Take on Tech at KBC Channel 1. My name is Stephanie Ayeta.
we asked the children, how many of you brushed this morning? And this little boy, his hand didn't go up. And I said, well, why didn't you brush this morning? He said, my brother was using the toothbrush. If I'd waited for him, I would have been late for school. I'm sorry, I get a bit emotional when it comes to that. To be able to change a child's life, to be able to bring back that confidence about their smile, for me, is phenomenal.
The government of Kenya, in partnership with the World Bank Group, will host the International Development Association, IDA, for Africa Heads of State Summit on April 29, 2024. The summit, to be held at Kenyatta International Convention Center, Nairobi, will identify key priorities for development financing in Africa and champion an ambitious financing replenishment of IDA resources, or IDA 21. IDA 21 will support transformational development objectives for the Africa region. The high-level summit hosted by the President of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, and the President of the World Bank Group, Ajay Banga, will convene African leaders, development partners, private sector actors, civil society organizations, youth, and other stakeholders. The expected outcome of the summit will be the adoption of the Nairobi Communique. The summit will culminate in the launch of the Coalition for IDA. The Coalition for IDA is a multi-stakeholder movement to support the IDA 21 replenishment. The IDA Coalition launch will amplify the voices coming out of the summit on the vital importance of IDA and its role for Africa. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1 from 8 a.m.
Watch the Mozartbet Cup as teams from both the top tier and low tier battle for the ultimate prize of representing the country in Africa's CAF Confederations Cup. Catch all the action live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, beginning with a round of 16 matches, the quarter-final, semi-final, and the final. Mozartbet Cup, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.